Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
Jody's Journeys is going to the Noah's Ark and Creation Museum in Petersburg, Kentucky, May 27th through the 30th. Join Jody Greiner with Jody's Journeys and create memories for a lifetime with this incredible experience. Seats are extremely limited. Call Jody now to reserve your seat. Experience Bible history at the life-size Noah's Ark. Contact Jody at 641-660-6417. Email her or go to Jody's Journeys on Facebook for more information.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show.
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and Never Wrong Nick Bull.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. Of course, I am your host, Never Wrong Nick Bull. So happy you joined us. So happy you found us. Welcome back. If you're a returner, welcome into the ring. If you are here as a first timer, we're so glad you're here. We love to talk wrestling, and we will be talking wrestling during this podcast amongst ourselves. We have a guest waiting in our green room, but we got some announcements to get to in a few minutes. Before I do any of that, I'd be remiss if I did not introduce to you my tag team partner. We are co-champs of the For Frequency's Sake podcast network. We got some big news to announce here in a few minutes, and we're going to do it with my partner. He is the one. He is the only. He is the Wizard, CZ Wiz. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Absolutely great. I know the sun stays out a little bit longer. That time change in the spring. It's a big deal for Never Wrong here because it's like a game changer. It really like changes the mindset, changes the attitude. So I'm doing great. Wrestling's been great, and we're here for another episode of the show, which is great. So
absolutely,
I'm interested about our guest today. That's for sure. But we've got some news to cover, don't we, big guy?
Just a little bit of business because I promised on Facebook that when we hit 1,000 followers, I would make a couple announcements about upcoming shows a little bit early. Usually we don't announce our shows early, Nick. We like to keep that element of surprise and build that, just focus on that particular guest or that particular episode each week. But I'll be damned if we didn't hit 1,000 followers on Facebook this over the weekend here. So we're gonna make some announcements. First thing I want to talk about, though, before we announce there's going to be 3 upcoming shows we're going to announce here today. Want to remind everybody that my buddy Zach Takis and I are hosting a wrestling fitness podcast once a month. Wrestling with Fitness is what we call it. We're both on a fitness journey. You can catch that Wednesdays at 7 at the once a month at the last Wednesday of the month. So that'll be the 26th of this month. So really excited to get back in the studio with Zach, and we may even have a guest come in this next episode, Nick.
Excellent. I'm all tuned in. It's an easy listen. Even there's some wrestling tie-ins to it, but it's more of Chris and Zach kind of going back and forth, talking about what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and in their fitness journey. So it's a very easy listen with some veiled wrestling references. It's not really a wrestling podcast. It's just 2 guys that do wrestling podcasts doing a fitness podcast. So I like it. It's a good listen, and I would recommend it.
I appreciate that. We also have our good friend Ricky Lee, the proprietor of the Sandra Lee Memorial Car Show. Nick, I'm going to let you take the wheel on this one here. And on May 4th this year, I believe?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's May 4th this year. I believe it's the 4th annual Sandra Lee Memorial Car Show. Their goal this year is to get over 100 cars registered. There will be wrestlers involved. That's why we're tied into it. Of course, this is the belt that will be rewarded to the wrestler's pick for best car in the show. Any car is eligible for this by simply entering into the car show. Sandra Lee Memorial Car Show, the 4th annual on May 4th. We're pumped because we're sponsors, but we're also featured. If you look at the right side of that picture there on your screen, can you throw that back up real quick, CZ? I'm sorry. Look at the right side of your screen. That is you see our colors, you see our logo there. We're featured on the side plate of the wrestler's pick for the car of the car show. So we're very excited. We're going to be there in one way, shape, form, or another because it's been announced the Headbangers will be there. Buff Bagwell will be there. Lash LaRue will be there on the wrestling side. I am not a car expert by any means, but I know there are some names from the car and hot rod world that will be there as well. I apologize. I am not a car guy, so I'm not going to sit here and try to know what the names are. So that's coming up May 4th. Stoked that we're on a championship belt. So cool to see that. I'm sorry. That's just that's cool.
That's really cool. And now we'll get to some show announcements here. We've done it 3 times in the past. Nick is going to be back for this one, it looks like, at least tentatively planned. But Zach Takis, Nick, and myself will be in Waterloo on March 29th. So a couple weeks from now for the 4th pre-show podcast party. We're going to have some absolute pro wrestling stars on there. I'm not going to announce who exactly is going to be on just yet, but we're excited about that. So that's coming up. Zach is going to join us once again as we interview some wrestlers up at the Cedar Valley Sportsplex, Nick.
Throw the floors up. Pre-show podcast party 4. Bigger, better than ever. I'll be back for this one, joining, of course, my tag team partner, Wizard CZ, and our old territory buddy, Zach Takis from Shotgun Wrestling Radio. We just try to bring some energy, get you pumped for the show that you're about to see. And Absolute Pro Wrestling puts on a good show, good product. You won't leave disappointed. I'm excited to get back up there, see some old faces, excited to make some new friends, and excited to see a wrestling show. And of course, do this as part of our show as well.
Absolutely. And right after that, we've got a busy weekend that weekend, Nick. We're going to be in Milan live the morning after the pre-show podcast party at the Spring Card Show at the Camden Center, hosted by Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Yeah, we're going to talk to our booker about this one. Late night in Waterloo, early morning in Milan, man. We're going to be on the road. Road Warriors. We'll be taking the ride back. Coffee will be the drink of choice at In the Cards, as we're calling it. Yeah, stop on out. Sponsored by Atomic Sports Cards and Memorabilia. It is a card show at the Camden Center, which is just located just what I would call just south of Milan, right on Route 67. We'll be going live there. Not sure what time we're going live yet. Stay tuned for details to follow. We will be live at the show. Stop by and see us. Possible giveaways, those are in the works, but we're looking forward to that. It's going to be great. We'll be half awake. We'll be puffy-eyed. We're going to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because we'll be talking wrestling with other hobby enthusiasts as well.
Absolutely. Can't wait. I'm super excited, and the fact that Atomic picked us specifically to come out to this show, that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Really am. Looking forward to meeting a lot of people too.
Now, we got one more big announcement, and I am stoked for this, Nick. Back at the car show, we were talking about Ricky Lee's car show, the Sandra Lee Memorial, the 3rd annual. We got to sit down with the wrestlers who were there, and one of them was talking about an upcoming book at that time. And we are excited to have her back in the studio, actually in the studio for a full-fledged interview. Nick, I'm going to let you take the wheel on this one too, man.
Yes, hooray for Hollywood. That's the name of the episode. Also, the name of the new book from original Glow Girl Hollywood, Jeannie Basone. We met her back at the Ricky Lee 3rd Annual Memorial Card Show. Or was it 2nd Annual?
3rd.
We met her back at the 3rd. She was fantastic to talk to. I wish we kept the cameras rolling because we talked for like double the time afterwards. But it was a cool conversation. She had a book almost complete at the time, just needed to edit it and some things proofed and whatnot. And she said right there that day, hey, call me back, get a hold of me, book me when the book comes out. I'd be glad to come on and talk about it. So we're going to talk about her with that. We're really excited. So of course, April is WrestleMania country, WrestleMania time. We're in the midst of, wrestling, and having that kind of kick off our month of April is just so cool. And we are excited to bring it to our fans.
Absolutely. And I recommend, I'm not all the way through. I just started. I'm about 50 pages in, but you can get the book on Amazon. You can get it on her website, which is jeanniebasone.com. But go out, get a copy. It's a pretty good read so far. And Nick, I'm getting on you. You need to do this as soon as possible.
I know. I know. I will get it ordered because, trust me, I've been wanting to read it. And B, we're going to be reviewing it, so I can't look like the fool who didn't, read the book with the person, the author, the wrestler that we're going to have on here. So, of course, I got to read it. So, yes, I will get that thing ordered. Maybe after the show is done tonight, I will get that ordered.
Hell yeah. Well, Nick, we've yammered on for long enough here. We've got a guest that we need to bring into the studio, and hopefully we didn't scare him away.
Yes, apologize. I want to apologize to the guest first thing for us taking so long. We thought that would take 5 minutes. We apologize to our guest. The Wiz, you're the former ring announcer. Bring him on in.
Can I bring him on like Justin Roberts would bring on the American version?
Sure. We've talked about American Dragon on this show before, but this will be the first tonight that we talk about the Guatemalan Dragon. So by all means, do what you got to do.
Making his way to the studio, the Guatemalan Dragon, Carlos Oliva.
Hello.
Carlos, welcome to the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sticking around. I could see you bobbing in and out of the screen. I'm like, gosh, this guy's going to leave before we even start.
No. You're fine. You're fine.
That's so cool. It's so cool you're here. We're going to throw a lot of questions at you.
Mm-hmm.
You're a wrestler, so we got to assume you're a wrestling fan to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? I'm going to ask you the same question I ask all first-timers here.
Yep.
What was it for you that you said after watching pro wrestling for the first time, man, I love this. I got to have more. What was it?
I'd say when I immigrated here from Guatemala and I saw Monday Night Raw for the first time, and I was just hooked from the very beginning.
Do you remember the exact Raw that was?
To be honest with you, I can very specifically remember it being John Cena pushing Zack Ryder off in the wheelchair.
Ooh.
Okay.
Off the stage.
Okay. I'm
I
going
have
to
vivid
You
memories
tell the
of that.
story. I want to hear this story.
Well, I just have very vivid memories of that. I came here to the United States, no English. I put on the TV. That's the first thing I saw, and I was just hooked. I didn't know what these guys were saying, but I just wanted more of this.
It just kind of sucked you in, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, why did this guy just push him off the stage in a wheelchair? You know?
So you immigrated here. You came from Guatemala. You started your pro wrestling career with John Cena and Zack Ryder. What was that crystallizing moment that you said, okay, this is what I absolutely have to do?
It didn't occur to me until WrestleMania 30, and then the main event, just the build up to WrestleMania, and then the main event, seeing Daniel Bryan finally winning it. At that moment, I had to be a wrestler.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great moment. One of my favorites for sure.
One of the most polarizing moments in WrestleMania history.
Yes.
We all agree with there that it's you say WrestleMania, that's one of probably the first 5 moments that come to my mind.
Of course.